Hello and welcome back, it's Shrike here with another D&D video, and today we're going to be talking about D&D Beyond and if you should have to pay for your books twice. When I've been introducing new players to D&D Beyond, it's quite common that they will ask why they have to buy the book twice. So in this video we're going to go through why and if it's right that we should. But before we get onto that, I just want to let you know that I upload D&D content here on YouTube every Monday and Thursday. So if you want to improve your game or take part in more discussions like this, make sure to subscribe and then hit the notification bell so you get notified when I upload a new video. So first off, I'm just going to quickly explain what D&D Beyond is and why I'm making this video, basically. So D&D Beyond is a digital tool for Dungeons and Dragons, and in turn you can buy the books in a digital format as well as the physical format that you can get from Amazon and from Wizards of the Coast. So quite a lot of people who have bought the Player's Handbook, for example, in physical format, then have to go on and buy the Player's Handbook in a digital format on D&D Beyond for the exact same price. And when I've explained this to people in the past, they've either not thought it was right or not really been very happy with the fact that they have to buy the product twice, essentially, one in digital format and one in physical format. But the first thing I want to touch on is that D&D Beyond is owned by a company called Curse, who have recently merged with a different company called Fandom, and they are nothing to do with Wizards of the Coast. They are a completely different company. And as such, they have to make money, they have to worry about their own costs of staff, of tech, and they have to make a profit. And I'm not trying to say that they're money grabbing or anything like that, it's just business. They have to be able to pay for their costs. And the same goes for Wizards of the Coast, who are providing the content and creating the physical books. So I'm going to use some made up numbers now just to explain that to you. None of these numbers are from a source or anything like this, I'm just using nice round numbers so it's nice and easy to explain to you. So if we talk about Wizards of the Coast to start, let's say that a book costs $30 to buy, and $20 of that goes towards staffing costs, printing costs, and whatever costs they have. That means that Wizards of the Coast will make $10 of profit per unit sold. So for argument's sake, let's say that it's the same over at D&D Beyond, so they're selling their product for $30, $20 goes towards staffing and tech and all of their costs, and so they're making $10 of profit. Well, it's a little bit different at D&D Beyond because they're having to give a percentage of everything they sell over to Wizards of the Coast. So to keep the numbers nice and rounded, let's say that they have to give $5 to Wizards of the Coast every time they sell a unit. Which means that every unit they sell, they're only making $5 of profit. So hopefully with that really basic and simple maths, you can work out that D&D Beyond as a company have costs that they have to pay for. And there's quite a lot of talk online of this fantasy world where Wizards of the Coast buys D&D Beyond and offers that as a digital product every time they sell a physical product. So using the made up figures that we were just using just then, that means that the Wizards of the Coast costs goes from $20 to $40 because they would still have to take on all the staff costs, all the infrastructure costs, and all the other costs that D&D Beyond have at the moment. But they don't necessarily have to take the profit that D&D Beyond are making, which we'll come on to a bit later on. So now they have $40 worth of costs. They still want to make their $10 of profit, so they're going to have to sell the books for $50, but you also get a digital version. Which is great if you want both the physical and the digital version, but there's a lot of people out there who still aren't using D&D Beyond and just want the physical version, so it's not really fair on them if that ended up happening. And also Wizards of the Coast are losing out on that $5 that they're making every time D&D Beyond sells a product, so realistically it would actually be $55. So you're only actually saving $5, which isn't really much. Now I understand all of these numbers are made up, but I hope the concept sort of makes sense to you, the fact that businesses have costs and need to make a profit to keep going. And also from a business's point of view, why would Wizards of the Coast take on all of the work for D&D Beyond for the same amount of profit when they could just pass it off to D&D Beyond and take the same amount of money that they are, but without the stress of having more staff or the risk of having more costs? So realistically, if they ever wanted to do this, they would want to take more profit than they were taking at the time, so they might add another $5 on, and therefore you, as the consumer, will be paying the exact same price to Wizards of the Coast that you would be paying to Wizards of the Coast and D&D Beyond. So it doesn't really work out how you would hope. And this also isn't even taking into consideration the money that they make from other virtual tabletops such as Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds. Because every time Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds sell a book over on their platform, Wizards of the Coast will take a cut of that as well. And in this fantasy world where Wizards of the Coast now owns D&D Beyond, they are obviously going to prioritise that a lot more, which won't make Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds very happy, so maybe they'll sell less and therefore Wizards of the Coast will make less money. So there's quite a lot of factors that add to this sort of argument of if you should have to buy the book twice. Hopefully this sort of clears it up a bit more as to why that's not the case. But is there another way that it could be done? I've seen online quite a lot of people thinking that D&D Beyond should do a subscription model. So for example, you could pay $20 a month to get access to all the core rules, $50 a month to get access to all the core rules and the extended rules, and $70 a month to get access to all books. So from the consumer's point of view, this might be quite good because you don't have to buy all the books in one big lump sum if you don't have the money to do that. But there is also one quite big downside, because as soon as you stop paying that subscription, you will lose access to all of the books. So if you think about Netflix, as soon as you stop paying that subscription, you lose access to all of the films and TV shows that they have. It would be the exact same on D&D Beyond if they use this subscription model, which maybe you're okay with, and if you don't have that money to actually buy the books outright to start, it might be a good entry level for you, and then later on you could buy the books. But if they did ever do that, it would get a lot more complicated, because at the moment it's quite simple that every time they sell a book, Wizards of the Coast take a cut of that amount. But if they were doing it on a subscription basis, how would they divvy out the money to Wizards of the Coast? So let's just use some made up numbers again and say it's $50 a month to have access to all the books on D&D Beyond. And Wizards of the Coast are going to take 10% of every subscription, so they're going to take $5. Well, when they release a new book and therefore the user is getting more benefit from D&D Beyond, Wizards of the Coast will still be getting the same amount than they did before they released the book. Which obviously then will just mean that they don't want to release books as much because they'll be getting less money, they won't be getting the same amount they are at the moment when they release a new book. And you could argue that maybe there'll be an influx of new subscriptions to D&D Beyond when a new book comes out, but that's still going to be very minuscule compared to the amount of money they make now when they release a new book. And in talking about Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds again, if they offer this to D&D Beyond, they'd really have to offer it to them as well to make it fair and to keep them happy, because at the end of the day, they are making Wizards of the Coast some money. So there might be some of you out there that think the subscription model sounds great, and maybe even D&D Beyond themselves think that it would be good because then they'd get monthly income, which is always good for a business. But would it actually work? Probably not, because Wizards of the Coast would have something to say about it. So that's all I really have to say about the argument. I just wanted to sort of express that D&D Beyond is a business, Wizards of the Coast are a business, they have costs, they have to make money somehow, this is how they do it, and this is why you have to pay twice when you want a book on digital and physical. I've actually now pretty much changed to using everything digitally. I don't actually buy the physical books anymore, I just buy it on D&D Beyond, which is just how I like to play really. One thing I am excited for when I'm putting out this video is the comments and the discussion that's going to happen around this topic, so let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And if this sort of cleared up why you have to pay twice, once for digital, once for physical, please give this video a like, it would just show me that this was actually a useful video for some of you. And as I said earlier, I upload D&D content here on YouTube every Monday and Thursday, so make sure to subscribe if you want to improve your game or take part in more discussions like this. But until next time, happy gaming!